Peace, goddesses. Welcome to my channel. I'm Crystal Divine Queen. This is Evolving Into Her. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I just got some thoughts and perspectives that I want to share about evolving into her. So let's just get right on into it. Evolving into her. When I received this thought and I proclaimed this destiny for me, I really had a certain vision of the end goal, or I should say I really had these desires of what I wanted it to look like and what I wanted to be at the end of this. But as I'm doing this work, I'm realizing that this journey includes so much more humility than the vanity that I was chasing initially in the beginning. Like, this has been such a spiritual and therapeutic experience for me thus far, and in my mind I was really thinking about it in such a vain and egotistical way. At least my desires were vain and egotistical. My desires weren't necessarily for me to have this spiritual evolution, but that's literally what it has been. So constantly throughout this year, me trying to navigate and figure out what does this version of myself look like in my mind? You know, what lifestyle am I living if I'm vibrating on my highest frequency? This is the type of information that I'm trying to figure out so I can navigate this journey. And I've constantly been asking myself these two questions, okay? The first question is pertaining to this entity that is all over YouTube, all over the internet, and it's the entity of being a high value woman, becoming that girl, that whole aesthetic that's like all over YouTube, how everyone is just so focused on leveling up their life. I've definitely been affected by it, inspired by it, motivated by it, all of it, and I've took on some of those desires as well. So the first question I've been asking myself is, well, what really is a high value woman? I'm just gonna call it a high value woman in this video. And then the second question I've been asking myself is, are those desires mine? Are those desires even mine? We are programmed from childhood to desire certain things. We're programmed to desire a lifestyle of luxury, and lifestyle of luxury only looks one type of way. Lately, I've been realizing that I'm not really clear on what my desires are. When I say I'm not clear on my desires, for example, I could say, oh, I want to be a millionaire. But being a millionaire doing what? And then not only doing what, but what the heck am I going to do? If I had $1 million, what am I going to do? What am I going to do besides blow it? Because I literally don't have a reason that I desire $1 million. So that's like an example of a desire programmed into me that I don't want. I just desire it because that's what I see when I open up my phone or I watch TV. I'm very unclear on what to do with the things that I claim that I desire if I were to actually get them tomorrow. What would I do with it? And then that leads me into wondering, like, well, why do I even want them in the first place? Why do I want them? And if it's true that I only want these desires because they've been programmed into me, if they're not mine, then what do I want? What desires do I really want? What is it in life that's going to bring me fulfillment? Because that's the one thing I am clear on. I want to live a life where I feel fulfilled. However, I just don't seem to know what it is. And when I get on YouTube, I see all these women who look like they're living a life filled with fulfillment, and they're all becoming that girl. They're all being high value women. They're all giving us advice on how to be a high value woman and the things that we should be doing. And it all looks glamorous and it all sounds cool, but the question still remains the same within me. What exactly is a high value woman? Because when I hear women give definitions of it, everybody has a different definition. And when I hear men talk about it, their definition is completely different than a woman's definition. So what is it? Is it determined by a man's perception of us? Or am I desiring to be a high value woman for me? It's just a lot of confusion in my brain. To me, it's very much confusing and just all over the place. And I guess that's why I just end up asking myself these questions, you know, what the heck is a high value woman? And are these desires that I'm having really mine? In sitting here and talking to you, I'm realizing that in order to gain clarity and answers to my questions, then I really need to figure out what is my why. Knowing your why is extremely important in life. But when it comes to discovering the type of woman that I want to be, or uncovering the woman that is within me, I need to understand, why do I even want to uncover her? I got to be really, really clear on that. And then I need to acknowledge the fact that uncovering her is just a journey of self-discovery. Figuring out what desires are mine, figuring out what a high value woman is to me, figuring out what would make me feel like a high value woman. All of that is self-discovery. And it's important, because otherwise, if I don't take time to discover myself and explore myself and figure out the answers to these questions for myself, then what end result am I going to get chasing desires that were programmed into me and chasing what somebody else defines as a high value woman, when clearly everybody has their own perspective, men and women, of what makes a woman of high value. Once I attain it and I don't find fulfillment in desires that were never mine to begin with, what am I left to do with then, other than embark on a journey of self-mastery? I know that I long for something different, and I know that I desire more out of life. But what I'm trying to say is that lately I'm realizing that what I truly desire and what is really going to bring me fulfillment in life may not look like or even contain the things that I thought it would. So as I said, I thought this channel was going to be one thing. I thought it was going to be like everything else that I'm seeing on YouTube, but it's becoming something different. And I have to admit that that is really putting a smile on my face. Like, I really like that it's becoming something different than what everyone else seems to be talking about, or at least what my algorithm is showing me on YouTube. Evolving into her is really, it's been a lot of inner work going on. Truly, honestly, since I started this, it's been a lot of inner work going on. And so what I feel like are two questions or two things or just two concepts of inner work that I need to work on now with this realization is figuring out, what do I want? Number one, that's number one. What do I truly, truly want? And number two, what makes a woman high value to me? Or let me rephrase that. What would make me feel like a high value woman? Because I'm not here to define what anyone else should be in order to be high in value. I can only dictate that for myself. So is it being a businesswoman? Is it having a certain type of relationship? Is it living a certain lifestyle? Is it motherhood? Is it all of that? Do I truly want these things? Or am I being programmed to believe that I need certain things, all these things, to look a certain way and be a certain way in order to be a high value woman? You know, being a high value woman and becoming that girl, that whole feeling, that whole entity is truly just a feeling of fulfillment that we all desire. But is that feeling what society declares it to be? Does society dictate the things that I must attain in life in order to be a high value woman? Or should I just be focused on what attributes I actually care about when becoming a more valuable woman? I think it's the latter. At least for me, it's the latter. I believe that true fulfillment will come from the things that I say so, not what anybody else says so. And fulfillment for me is going to look totally different than fulfillment for you. But I am sure that true soul satisfying fulfillment is something that I desire. And I know that my growth and my development as a woman is the true prize. It's what I'm really after. And I'm realizing that the more isolated I have become. I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't really want a mansion. If I'm just being honest, I don't care about fast cars, and I really don't care about expensive jewelry. I personally want to disappear. I personally would like to travel, aka just explore the earth. I would love to just live like a native and have a garden and eat off the land. I'd rather wear a bunch of gold and copper jewelry than the diamond. I want to own land rather than have a mansion. That's success to me. That's fulfillment to me. That puts the smile on my face. That's what I would like to sit back and visualize when I think of her. And honestly, if a man is a part of that, if there's a man out there that can fit into that would be wonderful. I'd be so grateful. But I'm definitely not out here chasing fulfillment so I can be in a position to attract a man. That will never be the prize, and that will never be the motivating force. So with all that being said, my next steps in evolving into her is going to be getting very clear and detailed on what it is that I want. What are my desires? Who do I want to be? And what is going to make me feel like a valuable woman? In my perspective, what is going to make me a high value woman? And making sure that all of these things are mine and not my programming. So evolving into her is not a journey of this aesthetic of becoming a high value woman or even becoming that girl. Evolving into her is a spiritual journey of self-mastery, self-discovery, self-evolution, and self-fulfillment. And if that seems like more of your speed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, turn on my notifications. Come on over here, goddess. This is the vibe that we are on, okay? We over here doing stuff for soul fulfillment. We're not trying to feed the ego and buy into what society dictates. So thank you for tuning into this video. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.